In a world that often rewards outgoing behavior and thrives on group interactions, it can sometimes feel like being an introvert is a disadvantage. Parties, networking events, and group discussions can be overwhelming, and the pressure to constantly socialize can drain your energy. But here's the truth. Introverts are not antisocial, and they are certainly not shy. Instead, they navigate social situations differently, preferring quieter, deeper conversations over large-scale interactions. This article will explore how introverts can thrive in social environments, develop strategies to feel more comfortable, and, most importantly, enjoy socializing on their own terms. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about finding ways to connect with others that align with your natural tendencies and strengths. 1. Understanding introversion. The science behind it. Before diving into the practicalities of socializing, it's important to understand what introversion actually means. Introversion and extroversion exist on a spectrum, and they refer to how individuals respond to and process external stimuli. A. Energy dynamics. At its core, introversion is about energy. Extroverts gain energy from social interactions. They thrive on stimulation and group dynamics. Introverts, on the other hand, tend to lose energy in highly stimulating environments, needing alone time to recharge after social engagements. It's not that introverts dislike people, they just prefer lower levels of stimulation. B. Brain chemistry. Research in neuroscience reveals that introverts process dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, differently than extroverts. While extroverts are more driven by the external rewards of social interaction, introverts can feel overstimulated by too much social engagement. Their brains often have more activity in areas associated with internal thinking, decision-making, and reflection, meaning they thrive in environments that allow for deep thought rather than spontaneous interaction. This understanding is key to reframing how you view socializing. You don't need to force yourself into extroverted behavior. Instead, you can find ways to socialize that align with your natural tendencies. Sector 2. Pre-socializing preparation. Setting yourself up for success. One of the most effective strategies for introverts is to prepare for social events ahead of time. While spontaneity might appeal to extroverts, introverts often benefit from having a plan. A. The power of mental preparation. Before attending a social event, take a few moments to mentally prepare. This could mean thinking about who will be there, what kinds of conversations might come up, and what your goals are for the event. For instance, are you hoping to meet new people, reconnect with old friends, or simply enjoy the atmosphere? Mentally rehearsing some conversation starters or thinking of a few topics you feel comfortable discussing can also help reduce anxiety. Rather than feeling like you need to perform on the spot, you'll have a toolkit of ideas to fall back on. B. Set a social goal. Set a small, achievable goal for each social event you attend. This could be something like, have one meaningful conversation, or introduce myself to 2 new people. By focusing on a specific, attainable outcome, you'll shift your mindset from feeling overwhelmed to feeling accomplished. Remember, social success doesn't mean you have to meet everyone in the room. Quality over quantity is a great mantra for introverts when it comes to socializing. C. Choose your environment. Not all social settings are created equal for introverts. It's essential to choose environments where you feel comfortable. Large, noisy parties might be draining, while smaller gatherings or one-on-one meetings may feel more enjoyable. You don't need to attend every event you're invited to. Be selective about where you go and when, prioritizing those situations that are likely to align with your social comfort zone. For example, opt for a cozy dinner party with a few friends rather than a large, loud gathering. Or if you're at a big event, find a quieter corner where you can have more intimate conversations. 3. Mastering the art of conversation. For many introverts, small talk can feel tedious, awkward, and unfulfilling. However, it's often a necessary gateway to deeper conversations. With practice, small talk can be transformed from a dreaded task into a useful tool for meaningful connection. A. Use small talk to build bridges. Small talk doesn't have to be mindless. Think of it as a bridge to more interesting conversations. Start with something simple, like commenting on the environment or asking a light question about the other person's interests. Once the conversation is flowing, you can gradually steer it toward more substantive topics. Here's an example of how to transition from small talk to deeper conversation. Small talk. This is a great venue. Have you been here before? Transition. It seems like you're someone who enjoys art. What kind of creative work do you do in your free time? By guiding the conversation toward topics that interest you both, you can avoid superficial exchanges and move into more meaningful territory, something most introverts crave. B. Ask open-ended questions. Introverts are naturally good listeners, which can be an advantage in social settings. Rather than focusing on yourself, engage others by asking thoughtful, open-ended questions. This not only takes the pressure off you to talk, but also creates a more engaging and enjoyable conversation for the other person. Here are a few examples. What's something you're really passionate about these days? How did you get into your line of work? If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? Open-ended questions invite deeper responses and help steer the conversation away from shallow topics. C. Active listening and empathy. Introverts often excel in the art of listening, which is a powerful social skill. People appreciate feeling heard, and introverts can use their natural inclination for listening and empathy to connect more deeply. Nod. Make eye contact and ask follow-up questions that show genuine interest in what the other person is saying. This can create a sense of rapport without requiring you to dominate the conversation. C4. Managing social fatigue. Know when to recharge. One of the greatest challenges for introverts in social settings is managing energy. Social fatigue is real, and introverts often experience it after prolonged interactions. However, there are ways to manage this while still engaging meaningfully with others. A. Set time limits for socializing. You don't need to stay at an event for the entire time. Setting boundaries for yourself can help you avoid burnout. Give yourself permission to leave after an hour or two, or set up an exit strategy before attending. For instance, you can drive yourself to a party or have a good excuse ready if you need to leave early. B. Take breaks to recharge. If you're at a long event and feel your energy draining, it's okay to step away. Take a walk, find a quiet corner, or excuse yourself to the restroom for a few minutes of solitude. Even brief moments of solitude can recharge your batteries, allowing you to re-engage with the group more comfortably. C. Prioritize alone time after socializing. After social events, be sure to schedule some alone time to recharge. For introverts, time alone isn't just nice. It's necessary for emotional and mental well-being. Whether it's reading, going for a walk, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, make sure you give yourself that downtime after being social. There are 5. Building social confidence, progress, not perfection. As with any skill, socializing as an introvert becomes easier with practice. Over time, you'll develop strategies that work for you, and you'll become more comfortable in social situations. The key is to be patient with yourself and recognize that it's okay to have limits. A. Celebrate small wins. If you had one great conversation at a networking event, that's a win. If you introduced yourself to someone new, that's progress. Celebrate each of these small victories and don't compare yourself to extroverts who might have different social goals or energy levels. B. Gradually push your boundaries. You don't need to jump straight into large parties or networking events. Start small and gradually push your boundaries. Begin with low-key social settings, like coffee with a friend, and slowly work your way up to larger events. This way, you'll build your confidence over time without overwhelming yourself. C. Reframe social anxiety. Many introverts experience anxiety before or during social events, but reframing how you view social situations can help. Instead of thinking about how uncomfortable the event might be, focus on the potential positives. For example, think about the interesting people you might meet, the new ideas you could learn, or the meaningful conversations you might have. The 6. Leveraging your strengths as an introvert. Finally, remember that being an introvert isn't a limitation. It's a strength. While extroverts may excel in making quick connections, introverts often build deeper, more meaningful relationships over time. Your ability to listen, empathize, and think deeply are invaluable social skills. A. Deep listening and thoughtful conversations. Introverts are often great listeners, which helps foster genuine connections. When people feel heard, they're more likely to trust and open up to you. Use this strength in social settings by focusing on having meaningful conversations rather than trying to talk to everyone. B. Build strong one-on-one connections. Introverts tend to excel in smaller, more intimate settings. Instead of trying to work a room, focus on building deeper, one-on-one connections. These relationships often become long-lasting because introverts invest time and energy into truly understanding the people they engage with.